Hi, I'm Will Gow. Let the adventure find you. I love showcasing friends that are adventurous and they don't allow age to stop them no matter what. And today, I'm proud to showcase my good friend Finbar O'Sullivan, who lives in the South Okanagan of British Columbia, close to the Similkameen Valley. And we're going to be doing an interview with Finbar as well as 4x4 and around. And it'll be part one of a three-part on Finbar and our adventures in the Apex area. So let's get started with the interview and our travel up to Apex from Kelowna.
About an hour and a half from Kelowna, British Columbia. About 35 kilometers from Penticton up the windy road to top of Apex. It's now mid-July and we just had a great rainstorm out. It's still probably about 27 Celsius, but with a great rainstorm, it's going to be great to go out for a quick ride in his 4x4 Jeep that he refers to as Piglet, and we'll go for more description later on. But a beautiful drive up today, and the rain has been welcome to cool everything down here.
Yeah,
Finbar and I are at Apex Mountain on a great day. It's about 28 degrees down in Kelowna, but up at Apex Mountain, we've had a great rainstorm and it's cool. And Finbar and I are going out the 4x4. Finbar, tell me about Argentina.
Argentina. First of all, Argentina is a kind of really cool spot. I'd love to go back. So I was down in Argentina and I went climbing down there. So the highest mountain in the Western Hemisphere is called Aconcagua, Mount Aconcagua. It sits right in the Chilean-Argentinian border. And I was fortunate. I went down with a group of Rotarians to climb it. But actually what we did is that we used it as a fundraiser to raise money for polio. We raised an awful lot of money. But the coolest thing was, when you think of the average age of the average Rotarian, and we were all Rotarians who actually went on the expedition. And it was a full expedition. We had Laurie Skreslet, he was our lead guide. Laurie Skreslet was the first Canadian to climb Everest back in the 80s, and who actually guides in South America. So we had a great time down there, and I was fortunate enough to make it to the summit. Summit's at 23,000 feet, and a pretty big mountain actually.
How long did it take you to trek into the mountain?
Oh, it took us about 3 days just to get into a base camp, but we were on the mountain for pretty close to, I think it was 20 days or 21 days.
So how much preparation time did you put in for this trip to prepare for it?
Well, for me it was a little bit different. I come from a climbing, mountaineering background, so for me it was just a case of trying to get my ass into shape before I went down there. And I had solid mountaineering skills. But the other people who were on the expedition went in there cold turkey and did an absolutely fantastic job. Maureen and God Savage. Actually, there was about 6 of us in total, I think, actually. And it was fantastic. It was a great experience for everybody that was on it. And we got high, we went right to the top of the mountain. 2 of us made it right to the summit. But the coolest thing of all, and the thing I enjoyed most of all about it, was when we got back, God Savage reached out to Rotary, and Rotary reached out to Bill Gates. We were doing an interview with CBC, and Bill Gates announced that he would match us for the money that we raised. He would match us dollar for dollar that we raised. So even though the fact it was the highest peak in the Western Hemisphere, actually the highest mountain I'd personally ever been on, but actually the coolest thing of all was that we raised enough money to inoculate 240,000 kids against polio, which I thought was actually kind of cool. It was actually, to me, it was a greater achievement than actually climbing the mountain. The 240,000 kids who will probably never hear of Finbar O'Sullivan. I think that was the other thing that made me laugh too.
What a great trip. So Finbar, tell me how you actually get through the trails like this. What do you have to do to pay attention and
That's one of those kind of million-dollar questions, Will. So I have two things which I always quote to myself, actually. One is as slow as possible, but as fast as necessary. The other thing is that to use technique over technology. That's one that came from Chris Walker, who runs an overlanding training company out of Whistler, and I remember him saying that, and it always stuck in my mind. So there's two things we have to do. We have to be slow and careful. We have to make sure that we pick our line, our path that which we're following. And the other thing is as well is that even though people don't think of four-wheel drive drivers as being looking after the environment, if you notice I'm moving very slowly and very, very carefully, and the main reason being is that I don't want to do any more damage to the road than is necessary to get up here. So anyway, we're heading up to the top of Mount Riordan, which is one of the peaks in the apex, the Mount Beaconsfield area. So we're actually not far from the ski hill, from Apex Mountain Ski Hill.
Oh, I can start to see the views coming up now.
You'll see in a minute.
Shit, Finbar, we're not going down.
Yes, we are, Will.
How steep is this?
It's
Jesus.
to make you book it, isn't it?
Jesus, for shit's sake. What do they got? What do they got? Okay, now you're at. Okay, now I'm going to ask you better questions. What kind of brakes do you have on this?
Really good ones.
Funny.
You know, when you start modifying vehicles like this, well, you don't just modify the vehicle to go up and down things, but you got to modify the vehicle to stop you doing things as well. So this is about as steep as it gets. You know.
Is this a ski run?
This used to be a ski run. So actually, where we are right now is Mount Riordan, and this was the old maintenance road that they used to use to fix the chairlifts. And this side of the mountain has been abandoned, I guess, or is no longer used by the ski hill. But actually, I think the ski still has control over it, actually. But it's just the side of the mountain that they haven't used since the 80s.
What's the steepest thing you've gone down? I mean, I'm just looking.
You know something you do? You
Like,
kind of don't hang around to measure it. You know, when you get into something. I've been in Utah. When you're in Utah, things are kind of. I always call Utah magic, and the Moab area. You'll be absolutely amazed at what you can climb and what you can't climb because of the kind of rock that you're going over. Like we came down a gravel slope there, so Utah, it's like a sandstone. It is actually a form of sandstone. But the beauty of it, man, the tires grip and you can just go incredible angles. So remember, as slow as possible, as fast as necessary. This is one of those slow.
As we come to the end of the interview in part 1 with Finbar, our part 2 and 3 include an entire review of his Jeep and why it can go anywhere. What a machine he has. And we also will be going up to the 7,000 foot level of the Okanagan of Similkameen Valley, as well as explore many of the historical sites that are in the area from the old mining days. So appreciate you coming out and appreciate letting the adventure find you.